Awful news for the Colts this weekend. Daniel Jones goes down with an Achilles injury, and words I never imagined I'd be saying in the year 2025. They brought in quarterback Phillip Rivers for a workout and have officially signed him to the Colts practice squad. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Katie Caldwell. This is Jeff Lloyd. Jeff, we'll get into the bigger picture for the Colts in a sec. I hate that they're in this position right now. You and I have talked about them as one of the best stories of the league this season. I want to start with Rivers. So, 44 years old, he's been retired for years and is a literal grandfather. What were your thoughts as you read this news?
Just so everybody can kinda understand, when texting back and forth, setting throwing back content ideas, we gotta talk about the Colts, and somehow when we message back and forth, we always find a way to make sure we're gonna get a little Colts work in here.
Always.
Um, but it was like, "Well, we have to talk about it," and I was like, "Well, who knows? There's gotta be a quarterback coming in,
Maybe
perhaps
something will
something."
change in the next 12
Yes.
hours.
Yes, something spicy. Well, not even an hour, maybe 90 minutes later, I texted Kitty, I'm like, "Well, that's spicy." But here's the first thing was, I'm looking at my phone, and now in this day and age of AI, look, years ago, you always had to double check, triple check. Now it's quadruple check. I mean, you gotta go to your web. All right, let me make sure it's on the web. All right, is this really Rap Sheet? Let me make
I
sure I'm
thought it was
going
a
to
burner
Hidden Rap.
account. I couldn't believe it.
100%. But when you see this, and first off, look, Phillip Rivers, obviously a former Indianapolis Colts, has where his career
Mhm.
finished in 2020 in the playoffs in Buffalo.
And did work
So,
with Shane Steichen for
yeah.
9 years.
And one of the things that's kind of gotten sort of forgotten here, with the Colts' success this year was we always talked about it with the Irsay, the passing,
Mm.
and what this family's been through. So this is not so much just a team on the rise. This is an organizational thing. Everybody trying to, get a great year for the former owner of the team. And certainly Philip Rivers had a relationship here, certainly with Steichen, obviously
Mhm.
with the Colts. And, I mean, 44, really? 44. Facts of the matter. He's a high school football coach. I am
Yep.
sure Philip Rivers is out there throwing, well, season's over, I'm sure, but I'm sure Philip Rivers is out there throwing the ball every single day. Philip Rivers has 10 children. I am sure football is a huge, huge part of the Rivers family.
Well, they
So
have a
it's
whole
not
starting
like
lineup.
100%, but I am sure Philip Rivers didn't just go do this as a favor. There's a conversation and, "Philip, you really think you can do this?" And, it's not as uncommon as Joe Flacco in 2023, although we're talking
Yep.
about a 6-year age difference, and Joe was not that far removed from the league at the time. But,
Mhm.
I'm sure Philip Rivers is still pretty active, and professional athletes, they have huge egos. So
They
Philip
do,
Rivers
shocking.
Philip Rivers isn't gonna go into this with the, you know, "I'm gonna look like a clown." I
Yeah.
don't think he's gonna do this. The other thing I think is it also sends a message to Philip Rivers' family, to Philip Rivers' high school program. You don't let anyone down. If you think you can do something, you think you can be a part of it. And then there's the subtle twist that Philip Rivers' high school program is basically running Shane Steichen's offense, down to the verbiage.
So wild.
So, like, the fact that he's on the practice squad is one thing. Could he be leading Wednesday's practice? Probably.
What year
He's
is
he
this?
will be that invested into it. It's not like they're just gonna say, "Oh, well, let's get 15 plays together in case, Philip's gotta take some snaps." No, Philip Rivers should be able to run the entire playbook.
Mhm.
So right now, we'll know more on Wednesday with Riley Leonard with the injury, but right now your options are an injured Riley Leonard that we do not know, or practice squad quarterback Brett Rippon, which isn't a terrible, terrible option to have on your practice
I
squad.
agree.
If you're a good team, you should be able to uplift whatever
Mhm.
quarterback is gonna come in here, or a possibility of Phillip Rivers as well. But, I mean, you love it. Your response in the year 2025 is worse. And this is where we are.
Yeah.
Shows you, just the overall love of the game. Look, Philip Rivers, big, beautiful family, obviously extremely wealthy. All of this is because of the game of football. All of it is because of
Yep.
the game of football. Philip Rivers went to North Carolina State, started as a freshman, as the son of a high school football coach. So this has been Philip Rivers' life since basically he came out of the womb.
It's true.
So I do not, you know, going for the work. Holy God, he's 44. But do I really wanna get my eyes on it and see that maybe it could work? Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing, which, I'm not sure if Phillip Rivers was going to get voted into the Hall of Fame this year, but if Phillip Rivers gets put on this Indianapolis Colts active roster,
Resets.
he is voluntarily resetting the Hall of Fame candidacy 5 years. By the time that would happen again, there's going to be people going, "Who the hell is Phillip Rivers?"
Right?
Like, they wouldn't even, I mean, we're talking a decade at that point, so he could get on the roster, not even play for the Colts this year, and we're back to, I guess, 29, 2030, when Phillip Rivers would have an opportunity to go into the Hall of Fame again. That also kinda shows you something. There is no bigger honor for anybody who plays football than getting voted into the Pro Football Hall of
Right.
Fame, and him saying, "You know what? There's some people in that building who I've always been good to me. I feel maybe I owe something to them." I mean, it's a really, I mean, I know the jokes are being made, but you wanna talk about somebody maybe, trying to do something as a classy gesture for obviously some people that he truly respects.
Mhm.
I don't think there's anything better. Only thing is, man, I wish there was a videotape because I can only imagine as Shane Steichen was getting the final news in that locker room. Unfortunately, Daniel Jones and all the good things he did this year, and it's not even the leg that was hurt, it's
I
the other
know.
leg. So this poor guy is probably wheelchair bound right now, dealing with 2 different injuries. And, the old, Shane Steichen and Phillip Rivers, "Hey, you up?" And then maybe, are we about to
Not the
go
"you up"
do this?
text.
Are we gonna maybe even suggest trying to do this? But you wanna know what? It makes for a great storyline.
It certainly does. So, with that freak injury that happened to Anthony Richardson earlier in the season, do we look back at their moves at the trade deadline any differently? Like they did invest so heavily this season, and then of course you've got Daniel Jones on a 1 year contract. An Achilles injury isn't very easy to come back from. Who knows? Maybe they did try and trade for a quarterback and then it just didn't work out. But man, like what was their plan if Daniel Jones did get hurt? Do you look back at that any differently now, especially because you gave 2 firsts for Sauce Gardner, who is now hurt?
Here's the thing, like, and we even talked about this when the deal was made for Sauce Gardner. Okay, so basically you just told Daniel Jones, "Name your number." But
And we're
now
putting all the chips into the middle.
Yep, but now you're in that same boat, but you don't even know if Daniel Jones might be ready for week 1. Look, Daniel Jones is a pretty
Right.
athletic guy. I'm assuming he will crush a rehab, and if he's ready to go week 1, he'll be ready to go week 1. But for a team where everything looks so good for a nice possible run, and then, "Oh, you know what? You added Sauce Gardner. All right, that's a nice move, a little more than I would have paid for any corner," because the
Mhm.
Colts were certainly doing just fine before Sauce Gardner got to Indianapolis. But now, I mean, we could be in a situation a year from now where we look at this Colts team and go, "Good God, man, what did they do?" You don't have a
Right.
first round pick in 26 or 27. Your quarterback is back. One of the appeal about Daniel Jones was that he had a really good athleticism. Well, I've seen, Deshaun Watson can't even get practice reps coming off of Achilles, a surgery, and he was probably more athletic than Daniel Jones. This could be a situation in a year from now where you look at this Colts team and like, man, it looked so close, like it was going to be something that was going to be a thing for a few years, and now they just look terrible.
What other options do we see as a potential fit here? Like if we're digging into the well of quarterbacks that retired a long time ago, but I I don't really know. Like, there's not a lot of options right now. As a BC Lions fan, I'm like, I'd be calling Nathan Rourke right now. But what options do we see as a fit here?
It's the 3 you have in-house. I mean, ideally, they would like Riley Leonard to be the guy. I have to think there's a reason that Riley Leonard has spent this much of the season being the number 2 guy. Again, you could do worse than Brett Rippon being your practice squad number 3 guy.
Mhm.
Maybe Philip wows you. I mean, the thing with Philip is it's gonna have to be quick because, I don't think, and Philip, who always had the weirdest throwing motion that I have probably ever seen from any quarterback who had any amount of success, you wonder, is it good arm to throw to high school guys in practice? But is it good enough to throw an 18 to 20 yard out at the NFL level? So
Mm.
it's going to have to be more over the fact that Rivers is entrenched into this offense, which he is, because it's going to have to be, I know where this ball is going before it's even snapped. And then the question is, and this is just age, physics, call it whatever you want. Can he take a hit? I mean, you're
Yeah.
44 years old. You're playing Seattle. You have Houston. You were
Mhm.
playing San Francisco. I mean, if this is as honorable as this is for Phillip Rivers, this could also lead to, take out the chalk and outline that body on the field because to expect a guy at 44 years old to take this kind of punishment. But if this team is going to go anywhere, it's not going to matter. The defense is going to have to step up to every level that they
Mhm.
have within them. This offensive line needs to play like they were playing earlier in the regular season, where
Yep.
people were saying they might be the best offensive line in the league. And the thing that really hurts them is Jonathan Taylor is now going to have no lanes. Because
Yep.
I don't care if it's Riley Leonard. I do not care if it's Brett Rippon. I do not care if it is whatever Phillip Rivers is at 44 years old. You are not beating me as the Indianapolis Colts with Jonathan Taylor. It is going to have to be whatever guy behind this offensive line, whichever quarterback it's going to be, he better beat me because it's not going to be Jonathan Taylor.
We'll close it out with this. What is best case scenario for the Colts team this season?
If you could maybe go 3-1 here, do you have Jacksonville one more time?
Mhm.
You do have Jacksonville one more time. Jacksonville now all of a sudden going from, the hunter to the hunted.
Mhm.
You know, if you can find a way to go 3-1, it's gonna take a lot. And, sadly, I don't think anybody believes it's truly gonna happen. And the other thing is how does this team rally with the information at hand and the understanding of what's gone on? And, we've lost our guy.
Mhm.
Sometimes guys become bigger than what they are. Sometimes you see teams where I don't think we got much to go on, and the disappointment takes over. It's
Mhm.
gonna be a fun watch, and, for Shane Steichen and everything that's gone on in Indianapolis, and, we talked about, did somebody probably maybe deserve to be fired over the Anthony Richards selection, which was certainly possible. And
Mhm.
then, "Oh my god, Shane Steichen's gonna run away with coach of the year." And now we're sitting here where, "Oh my god, are they even gonna get a shot at the playoffs?" It's been I mean, it feels like it's been 5 seasons in 1 for the Indianapolis
Mhm.
Colts, and unfortunately, it may not lead to anything other than, playing out the string.